old woman knocked on my car window that night. I don't know why I listened to her. I don't know why I gave her money. But if I hadn't, I would have been dead that night. My name is Jake, and what happened that night is something I still can't explain, no matter how many times I replay it in my head. It wasn't just strange. It was the kind of thing that quietly stays with you, the kind of memory that doesn't fade. It just sits there, waiting for the moment you're alone at night to remind you of it. It was a little after 12:30 a.m. when I decided to head out. I had this dull headache that wouldn't go away, and we were out of meds at home. My mom was already asleep, the house completely quiet, and I figured it'd just be a quick run, 10 minutes, maybe 15. The convenience store I usually go to was about 1.5 miles away, just off Maple Avenue. Maple Avenue is the main road that runs through our area and connects out toward the highway. Even late at night, you'll occasionally see trucks passing through there, cutting across town. But that night, it was unusually quiet, not completely empty, just quiet enough to feel off. Every now and then, headlights would pass somewhere in the distance. A car would cross an intersection ahead and disappear again. The traffic lights kept changing for no one, and the street lights gave everything that pale, washed-out glow that makes familiar roads feel slightly unfamiliar after midnight. The store was open like always, bright white lights, that constant hum from the refrigerators, shelves half-stocked in that late-night way. There was one guy behind the counter, maybe early 30s. He barely looked up when I walked in. I grabbed a bottle of water, some painkillers, and a pack of cigarettes. I don't even smoke regularly. It was just one of those nights where you don't really question small decisions. Inside, everything felt normal, completely normal. It wasn't until I stepped outside that something changed. The air felt colder, not freezing, just noticeably colder than when I walked in. My car was parked right up front, under a flickering light that buzzed every few seconds. I got in, shut the door, set the stuff on the passenger seat, and just sat there. I don't know why. It felt like I paused, without deciding to pause, like I was waiting for something I wasn't aware of yet. And then, a loud bang hit my window. I flinched hard and turned, and she was right there, an old woman standing so close to the glass that for a second all I could see was her face and the reflection of that flickering light across it. She looked like a beggar at first glance. Worn clothes, layered oddly, gray, uneven hair. Her face was deeply lined, not dirty exactly, just aged in a way that felt harsh. But her eyes, they were calm, too calm, not desperate, not aggressive, just certain. She tapped again. Slower this time, deliberate. Every instinct told me not to engage, just drive off. But somehow, I didn't. I rolled the window down a few inches, not because I decided to, I just did. "Yeah," I said. Even my voice sounded distant to me. She leaned slightly closer and said, "Give me what you have." No hesitation, no please, just calm certainty, and the way she said it, she sounded completely sure, like she already knew what was about to happen, like she knew I would give her everything before I even reached for my wallet. And for a second, I felt this strange resistance in my head, like I should question her. But none of it turned into action. I just reached for my wallet, opened it, pulled out the cash, and handed it over. Around $150, maybe a little more. I didn't count it, didn't hesitate. I just gave it, because in that moment, it felt easier to obey her than to resist her. She took it slowly, no rush. Then she looked at me and gave this small, knowing smile. "You have given enough," she said quietly, "so I will tell you something that will save your life tonight." That's when something in me snapped back. "What?" I said. She leaned slightly closer. "Do not take Maple Avenue." My stomach dropped instantly. That was the road I always take home. I hadn't told her where I lived. "How do you know that's where I'm going?" I asked. She didn't answer. "Do not go that way tonight," she repeated. Same tone, calm, certain, like it wasn't a warning. It was a fact. Then she stepped back, turned, and walked away into the darkness beyond the parking lot. No rush, no looking back, just gone. I sat there for several seconds, trying to process what just happened. Why did I give her the money? Why didn't I question anything? How did she know the exact road I take home? I looked around. Nothing. The cashier was still inside. The lot was still quiet. That same flickering light above me. Finally, I started the car and pulled out. Out of habit, I headed toward Maple Avenue, but as I got closer to the turn, I slowed down. Her voice replayed in my head. "Do not take that road tonight." I don't know why I listened, but I did. I took the longer route, cutting through Oak Ridge Drive, then Pine Street, looping back toward my neighborhood. A few minutes into the drive, I heard it. Distant at first. Sirens. Faint, but unmistakable. More than one. Somewhere in the direction of Maple Avenue. I remember slowing slightly, listening, trying to place where it was coming from. Then I just kept driving. When I got home, the house was exactly how I left it. Quiet, still. I went to my room, took the meds, sat down, and then my phone buzzed. A local alert. Major accident reported on Maple Avenue. My chest tightened. I opened it immediately. There was already footage circulating. A truck had lost control and slammed into multiple cars. The video was chaotic. Flashing lights, sirens, people shouting. And as I watched it, that same realization settled in. It had just happened right around the time I would have been on that road. I replayed it more than once. There was a stretch in the footage I recognized instantly. A part of that road I pass almost every night. That could have been me, easily. I just sat there, staring at my phone, trying to understand it. How did she know? Not just the road, not just the timing. Everything about her had felt deliberate. The way she spoke, the way she looked at me, the way she seemed completely certain that I would do exactly what she said. That's the part that stayed with me. I've gone back to that store since then, many times, and also around the same time. I've never seen her again, and honestly, I'm not sure if I want to, because sometimes, when I'm driving late at night, and I reach that turn toward Maple Avenue, I still slow down, just for a second, because part of me still wonders what would have happened if I hadn't listened, and another part still feels like, if she ever shows up again, I won't have a choice. There's one moment I still can't explain, when I realized 3 strangers, inside and outside the store, were all waiting for the same thing, me to walk out alone. My name is Aaron, and this happened a few weeks ago. I still think about it sometimes, not because I know what almost happened, but because I don't. And somehow, that's worse. It was close to 1 a.m. when I stepped out. I hadn't planned on going anywhere that night. I was already in bed when I realized we were out of milk at home. It wasn't urgent, but I knew I'd need it in the morning, and I didn't feel like stepping out again first thing. So I grabbed my keys, threw on a hoodie, and drove down to the convenience store a few blocks away. It's one of those places that never really closes, always lit up, always open, but late at night, it feels different. The parking lot was mostly empty when I got there. I'd parked a little farther from the entrance than usual, a few rows out under one of the dimmer lights. There was one other car near the far corner, engine off, no one inside as far as I could tell. The store lights were on, bright, almost too bright, spilling out onto the pavement like they were trying to push back the darkness around them. I didn't see anyone outside when I stepped in. I stepped inside, and immediately, something felt off. It wasn't obvious. No alarms, no shouting, nothing openly wrong, just quiet, too quiet. There were 2 attendants inside, one at the front counter, half looking at his phone, and another behind the medical shelves, restocking something slowly. Neither of them paid much attention to me. I grabbed a basket and headed toward the back aisles, picking up milk, sugar, and a couple of small things, nothing unusual. I was halfway down one of the aisles when I noticed him, dark gray hoodie, hood up, one hand resting against the rack like he was scanning labels. He moved like a normal customer, picking things up, putting them back, shifting slightly, but there was something about the rhythm of it that felt off. When I got a little closer, I caught part of his face, mid-30s maybe, thin face, light stubble, pale skin, nothing dramatic, but his eyes were steady, calm, like he was more aware than he should have been. For a moment, he kept up the act, lifting items, putting them back, and then I saw it. His hand slipped into his hoodie pocket, and he pulled out his phone. He tapped the screen casually, waited a second, then raised it to his ear like any normal call. From a distance, nothing about it stood out, but then I heard his voice, low, controlled. "Yeah, he's here." I slowed slightly, pretending to check something on the shelf. "Yeah, looks about right." A pause. Then he said, "Same range, no one else around." That's when it hit me. The aisles really were empty. Just me, the attendants, and him. "Yeah, this should work. We'll do it outside." My grip tightened around the basket. I told myself I might be overthinking it. But then came about average height. Yeah, it wasn't direct, but it was close enough. I glanced again. He was holding a bottle now, turning it slowly, but his eyes lifted briefly in my direction before dropping again. "Don't worry, I'll bring him out. You guys just be ready." My heartbeat picked up, then softer. "Yeah, I'll handle the rest. Keep it clean." There was a faint smile on his face, just enough to make it stay with me. I moved toward the counter, forcing myself to stay calm. "Cash or card?" the cashier asked. "Card," I said. My voice sounded normal, which felt strange. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw the man drift closer, still pretending to shop. By the time I was paying, he was behind me. Not too close, just enough. I thought about saying something, but I didn't. If I was right, reacting suddenly could make things worse. They weren't alone. I took my bag and turned. For a second, our eyes met again. That same slight smile, calm, controlled. I walked toward the door, and that's when I saw them. 2 men outside, both in hoodies, one to the left, one to the right, moving casually like they were just hanging around, but something didn't line up. They weren't there when I arrived. I was sure of it. When I stepped into the store, the entrance had been clear. Now they were positioned perfectly. Anyone walking out alone would pass right between them. My chest tightened. This wasn't random. This was arranged. And that was the moment the fear really settled in. Up until then, I'd still been trying to rationalize it. Maybe I'd misunderstood. Maybe it wasn't about me. But now, standing there, seeing those 2 men outside and knowing the one behind me had just said, "I'll bring him out," I felt it. Whatever this was, it was about me. A dozen thoughts hit me at once. Who were these people? What exactly were they planning? What did he mean by the rest? Was it a robbery? Something worse? I remember looking through the glass and thinking how exposed I was. My car suddenly felt too far away. The parking lot felt too empty. I could already picture them closing in before I even reached the driver's door. For a second, I genuinely felt like if I stepped out wrong, that would be it. I knew I couldn't panic. I couldn't do anything stupid. I couldn't let them see that I understood what was happening. The man inside was too close. The 2 outside were already in place, and if there were more of them somewhere I couldn't see, then making a scene would only trap me faster. I kept telling myself the same thing. Stay calm, think clearly, don't rush. If I was going to get out, it had to look natural. That's when the idea hit me. Not because it was clever, just because it was the only thing I could think of. If the guy inside believed I wasn't leaving alone, maybe that would be enough. I stepped slightly away from the door and pretended to look at a rack again. Then I pulled out my phone, unlocked it, tapped like I was dialing, and raised it to my ear. I knew he was still behind me, close enough to hear, so I angled slightly and spoke just loud enough. "Hey Roger, what's up, man? What's the plan for tonight?" I paused. "Yeah, I'm at that convenience store near my place. You know, the one we went to last week." Another pause. "What? You're already nearby? Perfect. Come here. I'm inside. I'll wait." I lowered the phone slowly, but I didn't move. Not yet. I needed him to hear it and believe it. I drifted toward the side counter and asked something random, just to stall. I don't even remember what I asked. I just needed time. Inside, my thoughts were racing. I kept glancing toward the door without making it obvious. No cars, no one coming, nothing. I remember thinking, if no one shows up, I'm done. Then finally, headlights. A car turned into the lot and slowed near the entrance. That was it. I pushed the door open and stepped outside. For a split second, I felt it. Those 2 men shifting, ready to close in. And right there, at the doorway, I raised my hand and said, "Roger." Like I recognized him instantly. I didn't wait. I walked fast toward the car. The driver looked confused, clearly trying to figure out if he knew me. Before he could speak, I leaned down slightly and said quietly, "I'm sorry, I don't know you, but those guys behind me, something's wrong. I think they were waiting for me." He blinked, still confused. "What?" "I know it sounds crazy," I said quickly, keeping my voice low, "but please, just look behind me." He glanced past me toward the store. His expression changed slightly. "Can you call the police?" I added. "Right now." He hesitated for a second, then nodded. I exhaled slightly. "Thank you. Seriously. And one more thing. Can you just walk me to my car? It's right there. I just don't want to go alone." He looked at me again, this time more seriously, then said, "Yeah, all right." He stepped out of the car. We didn't rush. We just walked, side by side, like we knew each other, like this was normal. I could feel it behind me, their attention shifting. Whatever they had planned, this wasn't it. We reached my car. I unlocked it and turned back to him. "Thank you," I said quietly. He already had his phone out. "I've got it," he said. "I'm calling them now." I nodded. "Please, just be careful." He gave a slight nod back. "You're good. Go." I got in, locked the doors, and started the engine. As I pulled back, I saw him still standing there, phone to his ear, glancing toward the store. In the mirror, all three of them were near the entrance, standing together, watching, not moving, not following, just watching. I drove off. I didn't stop until I got home. Even then, I sat in the car for a while, trying to process it. Who were they? What were they planning? And that line kept replaying in my head. "I'll handle the rest." The rest of what? I never went back to that store again. Sometimes I still think about that moment, about how they weren't there when I arrived, and how they were perfectly in place when I tried to leave. And more than anything, I still wonder what exactly they were waiting for, and how close I came to stepping out alone, and more importantly, close to maybe death.